Good evening, everyone. This is Mother Teresa, and tonight we are grandstanding with Mother Teresa. I just wanted to share a little bit of things with you that's been on my heart for quite some time. For those of you all that I had spoke with or had listened to my live or my broadcast earlier, you all can recall that I had mentioned about a year or so ago that I was given the mindset to do what's called grandstanding. And what I wanted grandstanding to do or to be was an opportunity or a platform that I could put together for grandparents to talk about the grand things that's happening in your children's and your grandchildren's lives. So basically it was an opportunity, when I say grandstand, basically for you to just talk about the grand things that's happening. And so this has kind of come full circle now to where tonight, almost a year later, that I'm actually doing the first live episode of grandstanding. And so again, it's just an opportunity to talk, to share some of the great things that's been going on in your lives. For those that are familiar with my Monday morning motivations, you will hear a lot of the same things I have stated before, that you're going to hear more of the same. And if you enjoy listening to me when I do Monday morning motivations, then hopefully you will enjoy listening to grandstanding with Mother Teresa. And I like to say that I am Mother Teresa, actually the other Mother Teresa from East Texas, the oldest town in Texas. So for those of you all that are joining me, I would just like to say welcome, welcome, welcome. So tonight what we're going to be talking about is gratitude and positivity. And with the gratitude and positivity, what we're going to be talking about is offering you some opportunities or some ways to extend your gratitude and to show your positivity in just everyday life. And when we think about gratitude, we think about, being grateful for the things that we have in our lives. And there is so much that we have to be grateful for. And it's the act of showing how thankful you are for the things that you have in your lives. And so when we talk about being grateful and just, we can show our gratefulness in so many different ways. And so what we wanted to do tonight is just kind of talk a little bit about that. And also talk about being positive. For those of you all that know that I try to maintain a sense of positivity in all that I say and do. And when I think about that, I think about what I feel like is my calling, what I was called to do. And that's basically to be an encourager to those that I come in contact with, and also to inspire those. Show them some kindness along the way, and hopefully make their day a little bit brighter. So I think I'm doing a good job, but guess what? We can always stand some improvement. So tonight I wanted to just put some things out there. I want you to embrace the joy in everyday moments in your lives. And by doing that, that increases the sense of positivity. That increases a sense of gratitude. So when we're thinking about and we're going about our daily lives, sometimes you can say, or some people may say, well, what do I have to be grateful for? What in my life do I have to be grateful for? And I can tell you that there's a lot of things that you should be grateful for. And when you start practicing showing how grateful you are, the more grateful and thankful you become. And also doing that with a sense of being positive. One thing about it, I try to be as upbeat and as positive as I possibly can, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I don't have some necessarily days or some moments that I don't feel like being positive. But the more you press into being positive and the more you practice being positive, the more positive you will become. One of the things that I like to say is that if you surround yourself with positive people, then more than likely you're going to give and get what you're putting out. Don't surround yourself with a lot of negative people, because guess what? That negativity rubs off on you. And so you want to keep yourself in a mindset or in a groove or with people that are positive and showing a sense of gratefulness. Now, one of the questions that I did have for today is I wanted you all to think about a time where you experienced a simple pleasure or a moment that made you smile. And when I think about the things that make you smile, typically those are good things. You know, typically we smile when things are good and pleasant. So typically we don't smile if it's a negative experience. So think about the things or the last time that you really, really smiled. And what was the feeling? What was the experience? What was the circumstances? What were the things that were surrounding that sense that caused you to smile? And then also, was it somebody else who made you smile, or was it something that you did for somebody else that caused you to smile? When you think about smiling and also having that positive sense of who you are, again, like I said, you attract those same things. But then another thing I wanted to ask you about is that what is one small thing, if you think about your day? I often say it's going to be a great day. I don't just think about this and say this for Mondays, although that is the time that I will put it out on Facebook. But every day can be a great day. And when it's not, I often say that you have the possibility, the opportunities to reset those days. So what are some of the things that make you smile? What are the things that causes you to have a great day? And what are the question that I wanted to ask? Think about, it's a little bit after 7 right now. What was one thing that caused you to have a great day on today? What was the one thing? I asked you what made you smile, but what was also a thing that caused you to have a great day on today? Okay, think about that. Ponder about that situation. Anybody want to share? I'm looking in the comments to see what are some of the things that you all have said. Helping someone in need always makes me smile because I'm able to help them at that particular moment. Thank you, Nit. And thank you, Boris and Shekinah. This is my family that's joining me on tonight. And that's great. Those are the things that we can do, that when we're helping another person, typically that will give you a sense of fulfillment. It'll give you a sense of, okay, I'm helping somebody. And let me just tell you all this. I believe that what you make happen for others, God will make happen for you. And so when you are at the point where sometimes when we are giving out of our need, not all the time it's just you're giving out of your abundance. Sometimes we're giving when we are in need. And so when you do that, I just believe that God honors that and that he will make whatever it is, the situation or the lack that you have in your life, he honors that and he will bless you. I'm a believer, a firm believer that when we give, that we give as unto the Lord, and God blesses us for our faithfulness and for our obedience in giving. So yes, so giving to people because you want to help them at that very moment, that is always going to be so good. And when you're talking about being grateful and have a sense of gratitude and positivity, those are things that will increase that sense of gratitude. It's nothing like being able to help someone. And it doesn't always have to be people that are less fortunate. Sometimes we think that the only people that we're supposed to help are those people that are less fortunate. Yes, we are commanded to do that. But then there are some people that have lots of resources, but they may need a kind word. They may need you to tell them to keep going, to encourage them. They might even need you to just stand in the gap for them, to pray with them or to pray for them. And sometimes even a little small token of love can be something that makes a person feel so very appreciated. Not that they couldn't go out and purchase it themselves, but guess what? It's the thought that you had to be a blessing to them that makes them feel so much better. So don't always think that when we're giving, that we have to be looking for those that are less fortunate. Sometimes there are people that are sitting right in the midst of us that's either at our jobs or it could be at church or wherever. They're the ones that need a kind word. They're the ones that need a word of encouragement or a pat on the back, or just to let them know that, hey, you're doing a good job. Family members included, okay? So don't forget about your family and friends when you're doing these things. And so does it increase a sense of gratitude? Does that increase a sense of positivity? Absolutely. Absolutely. It most definitely does. So when we're thinking about, I put down a couple of rules for that. I thought that when you're trying to maintain your being in a positive place, that again, I said, you want to make sure that you're around other positive people. Because if you're around negative people, guess what? That rubs off on you. That spirit of just being negative and whatever, it will have a sense of just bringing you to that level that they're on. And you don't want to be like that. You want to maintain, you want to be the person that's drawing them. So if you're the positive person, guess what? You want to make sure that you're pulling them and making them a bit more positive and making them a little bit more grateful for the different things that in our lives, just basically in our lives. And then another thing that I said is that we have to engage in positive self-talk. There are some times that we have to speak to ourselves and say, girl, get up and do what you know you need to do. Make sure that you're, talking to yourself, telling yourself, hey, you can do that. You can do this. And so motivating yourself, the song it says, encourage. Sometimes we have to encourage ourselves. Absolutely. That is true. Sometimes we have to encourage ourselves. And so, and when you get into that place where you are speaking those kind words and you're, being not talking self-defeat, that gives you the mind or the mindset that you're growing and hopefully you are becoming who you want to be. The other thing is, I said, is to practice gratitude. If you want to maintain a sense of positivity, practice being grateful. Being grateful for the things that we have. And sometimes when we're being grateful, sometimes we forget about those, I'm not going to say the simple things, but the basic things that we tend to overlook. How many times did you say, God, I thank you for my house. God, I thank you for having food to eat. God, I thank you for having clothes, to put on my back and different things like that. Sometimes we forget about those basic things, those what we call little things that we may take for granted. But I guarantee you, some people, they don't have those things. So when we're practicing gratitude for the simple things and for other things in our lives, that keeps us being positive. Another thing I said is remember to laugh. I was talking to a lady today, or she was in a group of us that were talking today, and she was saying, I laugh at least 5 times during the course of the day while she's at work. And the work that we do, you have to laugh to keep from crying sometimes. And she said, I make it a practice to laugh. She also said, I make it a practice, like when she's having her cup of coffee, that she turns on music and it has sceneries from different countries, or she may be at the beach, or she may be in the mountains, or she may be in the desert or whatever. But that was her way of maintaining her sense of gratitude and a sense of being positive and keeping herself where she needed to be. So she takes her place. She kids with us, and she said, I have coffee in a different place around the world almost every day. And that's a good thing. That is a really good thing. That's, you do what you have to do to maintain your sense of being positive and also being grateful. And another thing that I said is to treat yourselves. We talk a lot about self-care, and especially in the field that I'm in, we talk about taking care of yourself and making sure that we are treating ourselves well. Well, guess what? If you don't treat yourself well, then probably nobody else will, except for you have I have to say a great husband like I have that treats me very well. And he makes sure that I'm taken care of. But guess what? Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Do the things that you enjoy doing for yourself. And it could be something as, when we think about self-care, for ladies, sometimes we think about, okay, I'm going to have a pedicure, or manicure, or massage, or this or that, or I'm going to get my hair done. It could be as simple as all of those things are great. I'm not knocking any of that. But if you can't afford to do that, or if that's just not your thing, what about just going and sitting outside and enjoying the sunshine? What about just reading a book where you're taking some time for yourself to just sit and read a book, or to do a color sheet, or to do whatever that you enjoy doing? That is part of self-care and pampering yourself. So make sure you build in some times that you are able to treat yourself, and find out what are those things that you enjoy doing that causes you to have a sense of calm, a sense of peace, a sense of relaxation, and all of those things. And then the other thing that I said is to practice mindfulness. You know, a lot of times we can be in one place and our mind is someplace else. You know, we used to say, I used to hear the thing when I was in church. You know, we could be in church, but we're thinking about, okay, what do I have to do when I get home? What am I going to cook for dinner? What is going to be for tomorrow? What is going to be, you know, all those different things. We're not taking the time to really appreciate and to be centered where we are. So wherever you are, practice mindfulness, and it makes a world of difference to just be in that place and to be comfortable in the place that you are. Mindfulness is also taking some time to, again, just to go within and start doing some reflection. Start doing some reflections about the things that you are appreciative of, but just being mindful, just being present where you are, in the state where you're at. If you are, wherever you are, just be mindful and be present in that site. Okay, be present at that very moment. Don't let your mind wander and go here and there. Just be present where you are. And so when we talk about, when I talk about, being present and being mindful and being all of those things, again, it's just part of just being grateful. It's just part of being grateful. I cannot tell you how grateful I truly am about all the different things that God has done in my life. And so, and when I start thinking about the gratefulness and the thankfulness, and not just the blessings, but the experiences, because we can talk a lot about blessings and we can say, okay, I'm grateful or I'm thankful because of the blessings, but I'm thankful for the experiences that God has allowed me to experience. And so when we're thinking about the experiences, those experiences, I often say, and I kind of jump around kind of here and there, but I often say everybody has a story. Everybody has a story to tell. Your story may not be like my story, but we still have a story. So when you're thinking about our stories that we have to tell, our story is just a combination of experiences that we've had. And those experiences, some are good, some are not so good. But guess what? They are still your experiences. That's your story. And don't be afraid to share parts of your stories with other people, because guess what? Some of the stories that you share with other people are the testimonies that they need to hear to let them know that some of the things that they've endured or they may be going through is that's going to help them. So your story of how you were able to triumph over certain things, maybe just a story that they need for them to know that, guess what? If my Aunt Teddy can do it, then guess what? I can do it too. And guess what? The thing about it is, the way that someone else made it out, or with the way that someone else was able to endure, maybe I can't do it like that, but guess what?